Yes, hello, thanks for tuning in. It's Stuart here, the Classical Record Collector. I've got a few things to talk about in this video. First of all, I have used my Rega Planar 2 and I just want to report on that, the sound quality and everything. I've done a previous video about it where I I showed it and I've put it in situ. I've now connected it up to my amplifier, got the phono plugs the right way around. Initially I got them the wrong way around, so I got the channels mixed up, but I've sorted that out. And by the way I sort that out is I put on a piano concerto and the piano should be in the middle, the violins should be on the left, and the cello should be on the right. It's as simple as that. If the violins are on the right, then I've got the channels mixed up. So yep, sorted that out, and I'm very happy with the sound quality. As soon as it started playing, actually the first record I played, oddly enough, was a Beatles record, pressed in the early 70s, I think, with the Beatles. And I played one or two songs, All My Loving and one or two others. Of course, very primitive stereo on those Beatles. You've got the voice coming out of one speaker, and you've got the instruments coming out of the other speaker. It doesn't matter. But I noticed straight away when I listened to that, compared with that cheap Bush player that I was using, straight away I noticed the really high level of clarity. It's a bit of a cliche to say that, you know, it's like a veil was taken off the speaker, or there were like pillows over the speaker when I was listening with the Bush, and it's like you've taken the pillows away and you can hear the sound in all its glorious clarity. That's the first thing I noticed. Really impressive. And across the board in every single respect, obviously it's a lot better. There's finesse. The voice, I mean, McCartney's voice, I mean, I can't say that it was like having him in the room, but you know something, it wasn't really that far off. I mean, the reality on the realism on the voice was really quite striking. It makes me realize that with a better cartridge, probably better speakers, I can raise the level yet more, but I'm really happy with the quality. I've played some classical records and I'm really delighted. There's real finesse in the way that the music comes across, and there's no end of side distortion, the kind of problems that I was having before. There are no shaky, there's no wow and flutter. It's absolutely solid all the way through, steady as a rock from start to finish. It's not been jumping. I've had issues with some tracks jumping. That's not happened at all when I've been listening it today. Whether it's hit an obstruction, whether the system I've got now, it hits an obstruction in the groove and it somehow just gets over it maybe. But I've not had any skipping problems today at all. And I'm delighted with the sound quality. Really worth the money. Okay, so let me move on from that, because obviously I've been out today. I didn't think I would find much today. I drove fairly locally. I went to some charity shops, and in one charity shop I found half a dozen classics for pleasures. I might have bought one or two of them at £1 each, but you know, they weren't really that interesting. They weren't really in that good condition either. I went into a large charity shop, Cancer Research UK. They've got a lot of records in there, but when I started looking through them, I noticed that some of them were priced at £4 each. Others weren't priced, and I went and I asked how much are the records, and they said, well, either they've got a price on them. If there's no price on them, they're £2 each. I said, is there a discount if you buy more than, say, 5? They said no. I said, oh, I see. So I didn't really spend too much time. I did actually go through everything they've got just in case I could find something that was worth the money. The closest I came to was a Philips record of Mozart's Bassoon Concerto and some horn concertos with Alan Civil playing on horn. I might have paid £2 for that if it had been in really good condition, but it wasn't, so I left that. Shockingly though, you know, most of the records were laid out on the ground in cases or crates, which is always awkward because CDs are above them. So if you're down looking at the records and you've got people walking around above you looking at CD. By the way, CDs are priced at 10 for £1, right? 10 for £1. And records are like cheapest is £2, and they've got all these silly prices. I don't know where they're getting the prices from, but I took 2 photos. Have a look at them now. So you can see there's a record there for £12, which is just like a cheap concert classics or something like that. And there's a Karajan one there for about £8, which, you know, I mean, I wouldn't even buy those two, or if I did buy them, it would be like 50 pence a pound each, maybe. I don't know where they're getting the prices from. And you know something, I'm probably not going to bother going into that shop again. I was going to talk to somebody and say, look, who's pricing these records? Because they'll be sitting here forever. You'll never sell them at these prices. It's got to be a pound each, or you just won't shift them. But, well, they know best. If they can sell those records for £12, £8, that people on eBay can't shift in a month of Sundays, good luck to them. But I probably won't be going in there again because it was just one big waste of my time. Yeah, so that was really disappointing. I think it may be caused by the fact that it's well known that vinyl's making a comeback. And it may well be that there are people in charity shops saying, oh, we're going to capitalize on vinyl making a comeback. You know, everything's like £4, £5, £6. No, it's not going to happen because, yeah, vinyl's making a comeback, but not for a lot of the old rubbish that you see in charity shops. Nobody's going to pay that, and I won't pay for more than £1 or £2 for 70s and 80s LPs unless they're like SXLs and ASDs and SAXs, collectibles, because I can get them elsewhere, or I can choose on eBay. I can buy better records than that with the shipping as well. So, I mean, just recently I won an auction on eBay for 32 Classics for Pleasures in X condition for £17, including shipping. That's 50p a record. I don't need to go into charity shops and pay £4 each for inferior records. Anyway, I was fed up with that. So I left there and I walked around the town a bit. And in this particular town, there's a record shop selling secondhand records, DVDs, CDs, etc. And I drew out some cash first because I thought, well, they probably won't have classical, but I'll go in and maybe I'll leave them with my number. And if they get some classical, they can call me. But I thought, you know, if I'm going into a little shop like that, I like to buy something, you know, well, anyway, if I'm going to go into somebody's small specialist shop like that, and I was sure that I could find something I'd be interested in for a tenner, you know, let's say £10 or something like that. So I drew out a bit of money just in case they didn't take cards. And I went in, and it's a smallish shop, but they've got quite a good stock. It's very well laid out. And in fact, I'm going to put a picture now. That's how the shop looks like inside. And it is small, but it's, you know, it's well laid out. They've got a fair selection. I wouldn't say they've got a vast selection. So I started talking to the owner. So it's a man and his wife who are running it. They're well into their 60s. They've been in records most of their lives, it seems. They're enthusiasts. I started having a chat with them about records, etc. Nice people to talk to, as they always are. I usually find that people who own record shops, and I used to own a record shop, I like people coming in and having a good old chat with them about records, vinyl, etc. And I showed this guy a picture of my record player. He liked it, and he said that he'd bought a Rega off somebody for 40 quid recently. It must have been a much older one than the one I've got, because I told him what I paid for mine. But I mean, mine is absolutely brand new, pristine virtually. And I'm sure the one he got was probably quite an old one for 40 quid. He claimed he sold it on for 40. That's fine. So anyway, by the way, he talked a lot. I mean, he talked a heck of a lot. He was telling me all sorts of stuff. I didn't let on I'd been a professional dealer. I said I was just a collector. I didn't tell him I'm a dealer. So I didn't want to sort of poison the well. But he was telling me about a collection he'd been to see that would have been fantastic, but the owner had kept it in a garage and everything was moldy, and oh my God, it was so disappointing. I know, because when I was a dealer, I sometimes found that as well. People keep them in bad conditions, and then what the hell do you do with a collection like that? Not much. So I had a bit of a browse around. I asked him where the progressive rock is, and I asked him where Blondie is. And I'm on the lookout for a good copy of Plastic Letters, Blondie. It's one of my favorite albums. I had it in the 70s when I was a boy, when I was a teenager. and I had it until I was about maybe mid-30s, and somehow I lost it, unfortunately, during a house move, I think. So I went to have a look at the Blondie section. They had a copy of Plastic Letters for 20 quid. Well, £20, you know, for a mint copy, I think £20 might be okay for a near mint, but I didn't really want to spend £20 in there. So I passed on the Plastic Letters. I'll pick up a good copy on eBay for about maybe £15. Yeah, so I went to have a look at Queen. Well, I had a look at Pink Floyd because I'm on the lookout for Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, some other records like that. They didn't have Dark Side of the Moon. They didn't have Wish You Were Here. They didn't have Medal. They just had the Pink Floyd albums that I don't like Animals and, you know, one or two of the others. So I didn't get anything for Pink Floyd. But I did get something for Queen. Now, Queen, I'm on the lookout for lots, like A Night at the Opera, Day at the Races, Sheer Heart Attack, Queen 1 and Queen 2. I didn't see any of those. And but I did see one that I found, which I did buy. So I bought this, which I'm really pleased with. It's The Game. Yeah. It's got some good material on it. It's got Save Me. It's got Crazy Little Thing Called Love. And another one, Bites the Dust. And some other good work on this album. For me, actually, it's the last Queen album that I'm really interested in, because everything that came after this, I'm not really too keen on with Queen. I like the earlier stuff, and I like Queen 1 and Queen 2 a lot, so I'm trying to get hold of those. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I got it for £10, and I checked the condition, seemed to be fairly good. There are one or two scuffs on the surface, but everything is in fairly good condition. It's got a nice inner sleeve with pictures of the band members on. So, and it's got a really cool sort of silver front, sort of laminated type, shiny. It's a really good record, actually. So I got that for £10, which I was quite happy with. It's a UK pressing, of course. I've had a look on eBay, and it seems to sell, I think I got that for a good price. It seems to sell mainly for about £12 to £15 plus shipping. So I think for £10, I can be quite happy with that. I've played it already, and it's good sound. You know, it's a fairly clean copy. It's not perfect, but I'm happy with it. Okay, yeah, so I had a chat with those people, and I didn't buy anything else. I left them with my number, and I said to them, if you get any classical in, could you let me know? I said to them that I told them what I was prepared to pay. I probably shouldn't have. I said that I mainly pay about £1 to £2 for sort of 70s and 80s LPs, and that if they had a collection that they'd plucked out the gems, the SXLs, the ASDs and everything, I could go through the rest and pick out a certain number. I don't know if they'll take me up on that. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I figured that it was worth leaving them with my number anyway, just in case. So I went to some other charity shops, and I had a really bad day in the charity shops. So that didn't work out. But, you know, I've had good times in charity shops. Today wasn't so good, but I'm at least pleased that I got that copy of The Game. That was something to come back with and play on my Rega Planar too. Apart from that, I'm going to go out locally tomorrow and check out the charity shops. In the town that I live, there's about 6 charity shops. I go in once a week and hope to get lucky. I went in last week, didn't find anything. Maybe tomorrow there'll be something. So yeah, that's about it. And anyway, thanks for watching. But yeah, the Rega Planar 2 is a fabulous turntable. I'm really delighted with it, and it's delivering me really, really good quality sound. Thanks for watching, and bye for now, and thanks for all your comments.